Questions? Right here in the first row.
Zach Tipton, WXVU, Villanova Radio. What Cleveland State does really well is they get to the line. They get to the line a lot. You guys said it being aggressive on defense. How do you be aggressive without fouling, considering that's what they love to do? They get to the line, and they're really good at the line.
I think it's just like a lack of emphasis on focus and just staying focused on the personnel and not bailing out your person you're guarding. Just staying down on defense and just being disciplined.
Any other questions? We have one back over here.
Dan Gals, AP. Just, obviously the men's team has had so much success, but for this team to, irregardless of what kind of season they had this year, to be, make it a true basketball school, what's it been like? You have sold-out crowds. You have a big following in large part because of you and all the wins. I mean, what's it been like this year to kind of see the team kind of really take off into maybe another level in terms of respect and attention? You're on the back page, front page of 2 newspapers today.
I mean, it's been incredible. The support, over my 5 years at Villanova has just, it's been like this the whole time. But just to see, the amount of attention that our team is getting, it's just so exciting to be a part of. And, I think it's well-deserved. Like, we've worked really, really hard. And, last year, we were able to win a game in the tournament, which really, gave us a lot of momentum. Everyone was feeling good. And then, coming back in the summer, Coach was like, if you guys want to do that again, you saw what it took last year. And just, I think the commitment to doing that, like starting in the summer, everybody was really on the same page and really wanting to get back here. So it's just, so exciting to see, and I'm just so glad to be a part of it.
She summed it up pretty well.
We have another question in the first row.
Coach Dillon's only in her 3rd year here, but she's already got you guys to 2 tournaments. What have you seen from her, especially in these last few years, to like really, and her changing as a head coach and her growing as a head coach?
I think the emphasis she has on defense takes us a lot. Like, defense wins our games. Obviously, the offense helps, but her focus on defense is what I think takes us to the next level.
Questions? Any other questions? Mel, here in the second row.
Mel Greenberg. I'll follow up on that. When Denise was at Drexel, her nickname around places was Little Harry. What all changed, or what was different since you did get 1 year of Coach Peretta before Denise came?
Honestly, I don't think it could have been a smoother transition from one coach to the next. And I'm just so fortunate. I've had both experience. I've got to play for 2 great coaches, instead of one. And I think, throughout my whole career, I've been able to, draw on both of the things. But knowing that they kind of have a similar mentality, with the motion offense and stuff like that. Denise is a lot more intense on the defensive end. And, I think it's just kind of been like the best of both worlds and being able to, experience both of those. And, I think that helps the way we play.
Questions? Any other questions? I think we're good. Thank you, Villanova.
Thank you.
Villanova head coach Denise Dillon. And Coach, if you'd like to start with an opening statement, we'll go from there.
Yeah, well, it's finally here. I think the excitement of hearing our name called on Sunday to host is starting to set in with the environment, the setting. Campus is electric, and having you all here is fantastic. So thank you.
So please raise your hand and state your name and affiliation when you ask your question. We'll go right here in the front row to Terry.
Terry Toohey, Delaware County Times. Hi, Denise.
Hi.
You know, Lucy's made a big jump. How much has she improved from just last year to this year?
Yeah, immensely. I mean, to Lucy's credit, just the time she puts in is impressive, remarkable. We say it all the time. She gives everything she has at practice. Like, she never skips steps. Every drill, she just gets after it. But the amount of time Lucy spends in the gym is remarkable. We got to check every once in a while. We're like, all right, what's your schedule? She's in here at 6:30 in the morning. She's in Nevin at night. So, yeah, she is a absolute basketball player. I mean, in everything she does. So you could see the results through her efforts, and it's working beautifully for us.
We'll go right here in row one.
Zach Tipton, WXVU, Villanova Radio. Kind of going off that, you know, last year it was a lot of Maddie, and this year obviously you get your Maddie, but it seems like she's had a lot more supporting cast,
Yeah.
especially this year. Dulce, Olsen, Maddie Burke. It just seems like everyone, and Brooke obviously as
Yeah.
well. It seems like you're getting a lot more production from everyone else, which has been incredible for you. What have you seen from like that side of things, and how big of an emphasis was that in like the off season to kind of take the pressure off her a bit and get more people involved?
Absolutely. You know, after finishing last season, you could see a sign of disappointment in our team. Like, heading out, excitement about being in the tournament, winning that first game, but definite disappointment with losing to Michigan. And you appreciate that as a coach. So summer came around, we had the full team back, knowing what the roster looked like, and from that point, they really figured things out, like what we need to do, just the commitment to working every day and getting to know each other. You know, Maddie had a tremendous year last year, so you're wondering, like, wow, how we going to match that? And not only has she matched it, she's brought it to another level. And with those supporting members doing just the same, improving from last year, wanting more responsibility on the floor and opportunity. You know, Christina stepping into a starting position, she embraced it, and it's just gotten better each and every day. Just wanting to be better for the team and to improve her game as well. And then you mentioned so many of the others. I mean, Brooke Mullen, you say you don't see the numbers so much, but she's just like a glue factor for us. You know, what she does on the defensive end, just setting the tone. And offensively, she's extremely smart. She knows who to pass the ball to. So she finds her buddy Maddie all the time, which is great. But I feel that this group has been a pleasure to coach because of their effort, and every day, like practice, they make practice enjoyable because you can challenge them with anything. So when you have that, you're able to just progress a little faster with some more game strategy.
Questions? Raise a hand here. Mel in the second row.
So I know you and Tina Martin have been longtime friends. Finding out that Joe Biden is suddenly your number one fan, have you considered talking to her back in the Deladown days when you witnessed it from the other side?
Yeah, I guess he was always as competitors in the CAA when I was at Drexel and Tina at Delaware. You had the Bidens in the stands supporting Deladon. So I think they've been great supporters of Villanova, you know, talking about on the men's end. So he's following suit and supporting the women as well. So always a good thing.
Glenn, did you have one in the back?
Yeah, Glenn Papazian, PhillyCollegeSports.com. And Denise, you said you wanted to treat this as a business trip, as you would any away. How well is the team focused in on that? And, you know, despite the fact you're being home, that they have treated this as such in the way you wanted it to be?
Yeah, it's been great. You know, you think about the players' mentality in this, and you wonder, like, okay, are they looking at it, well, this is a home game, so we do our thing, our routine of a home game, you know, in the apartments, coming over, shoot around, going back and forth with their regular schedule. When we presented to the captains, it was almost like a relief to them, feeling like, cool. All right, good. We're going to be off campus. We'll all be together. We'll be able to keep that road game schedule and eliminate the distractions and just come in here and do our job when it's practice time, game time. So it was a great relief to us as coaches, like making sure there wasn't any pushback. They embraced it and handling it just as they did. Again, this team gets along great. So anytime they have together away from some distractions, they embrace it. So it's been really good.
Questions? We have one over here in the second row. Dan?
Dan Gelson, Associated Press. How you doing? I have a question, not having to do with Villanova, but I'm curious. Less than 30% of the players drafted over the last 5 years are able to make the WNBA, even when they're drafted. And now you don't have Russia as an option. Do you see that it's getting harder to find a path to the pros for the college stars, or have you not noticed a change?
I mean, you say that stat, so it's eye-opening, and I think the awareness is there for the players. I think the current players in the league are doing a good job of communicating that to some of the college athletes, just so they have an understanding of how hard it really is. I mean, you can look at the rosters and realize the turnover, it's so few and far between. So, a few opportunities to be on that roster. I'd say here, at the opportunities we have at the college level, and I could speak to it at Villanova, just the growth of our, not the game itself, just the support, the environment. I mean, you look around, even just our crowds in the last 2 years, it's been really exciting. So the buy-in to staying and making the most of your experience here has been welcomed and appreciated within the athletes, instead of jumping so quickly to what could be, those opportunities in the league, because it is.
How do you feel NIL opportunities will affect that, especially here at Villanova?
Yeah, well, again, that is a factor, the NIL. So you don't see it often in the WNBA with players leaving early. I mean, who was it at Notre Dame? Jewel Lloyd, was she one who had a year, and that was prior to COVID. She made the jump, but you don't see it now, especially with the NIL opportunity to make some significant money and play the game they love with some of their best friends. So just it keeps the innocence of the college environment, but also the professionalism of opportunity to make some money before you take that next step, whether that's your career or something else.
Question right here.
Kyle Rossi, Horizon Roundtable. Obviously, you were at Drexel for a long time before you were here. Talk to me a little bit about what it takes to build a perennially successful mid-major program in a crowded landscape, and how appearing in the tournament here with you guys can help springboard that a little bit.
Yeah, well, I feel it was mid-major when I was at Drexel. Villanova certainly is not mid-major, so I feel taking that step, the vision was how do we sustain national attention, as opposed to just a year or two. So it's, for us, continuing with the promotion of what we are now, and then continue to grow, and you're only as good as your players. So making sure we bring in those players and developing the ones we have to continue to raise the level. But it's the commitment. I mean, lucky for me, my time at Drexel, a tremendous staff in growing our program itself, and I'd say our greatest strength was the player development. But you have to have players who are willing to just embrace that coaching and get better each and every year and increase their responsibilities.
We have one in the front row here, Megan.
Megan Morehart, Philadelphia Inquirer. Cleveland State is really good at getting to the line, and they're also really good from the line. But at the same time, they also will shoot it from outside, and they shoot it relatively well. How do you maintain your aggressiveness on defense, which is such an emphasis for you, and kind of balance both of that while also trying not get in foul trouble?
Sure. Yeah, you continue to remind the players of what the tendencies of the other team is, especially, Cleveland State this time of year not being as familiar. So you talk real direct about the tendencies and seeing that stat, their efficiency from the foul line. One thing we always say is the discipline on the defensive end. You want to stay out on the floor, you have to be disciplined, but also being disruptive. So relying a lot on our veteran players to keep that in mind, set the tone. As I mentioned, Brooke Mullen just setting that tone at the guard position. I think Lucy Olson has grown in so many areas, and defensively being one. Then you look. Maddie is so solid in her position on the defensive end and her recognition of it. So I'd say, with Christina, that's a big X factor for us, keeping her on the floor and understanding how important it is to just stay present and be disruptive, but not bailing them out. So you want to get them off the three, but they put the ball on the floor. Yeah, you're not bailing them on the drive. So keeping in mind, defense is always something we talk about first. So if that's sharp in their brains, then the reminder will be there throughout the contest.
And you mentioned Christina. She has struggled at times with foul trouble, but now Megan Olbrey's hurt.
Oh, yeah.
And she's out. So she's come in and given you guys some very valuable minutes, especially when Christina's in foul trouble. How do you kind of fill that gap, whether is it with Bella? Is it kind of by committee? Is it just based on matchups? I guess because that could be a big...
Yeah, and exactly. I mean, Megan Olbrey's has given us really good minutes as a freshman. An unfortunate instance with her hand, so she is out. But to the point of committee, for sure. I think Bella Runyon, she's willing to guard anyone. Caitlin Oriole as well. They'll mix it up inside. So the understanding of what needs to be done is there. So us just being smart as coaches, getting that rotation down a little better.
Got time for one more if there's any other questions. Right here in the front row, please.
Yeah, so I guess kind of going off that with the injury, but your team has stayed relatively healthy this year. You've had the same 5 starters all game. Yeah, knock on wood. You've had the same 5 starters all season. How important has that continuity been, and how amazing has it been? Everyone getting to know each other and everyone really seeing how everyone plays that whole season.
Oh, it's something we certainly recognize and are grateful for. You're seeing so many players throughout this season missing games due to injury, and unfortunately, here in the tournament, some key players being out for teams. So we recognize and we appreciate it, and I think that has led to our consistency. Being able to have that starting 5, to their credit, of them being consistent players in order to hold that spot has been huge for us. And then our other players coming in off the bench, the rotation has been really good. So just keeping that in mind. We switch it up a little bit, in the second half. We do change that. I think Bella Runyon always gives you that spark you need, and you need that in the second half. So that's been something we've done consistently. But yeah, again, some consistency in areas. If you can control it with the starting lineup, we've done it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all.